hey, this movie mentioned Blu-rays, physical media is still alive. Goodnight Mommy is a remake of the 2014 movie of the same name, and this one stars Naomi Watts and twin brothers Cameron and Nicholas Crovetti. It tells the story of two twin brothers arriving at their mother's house and beginning to suspect that something isn't right. Now, going into this movie, I did my research. I watched the 2014 Austrian film and wasn't the biggest fan of it. There's a lot of things that I appreciated about it, but for me, I didn't get as many answers as I was looking for, really. So going into this remake, I was hoping that this movie would be better than that movie. I know the bar was set fairly low by that movie, but anything better than that, I would have been happy with. But unfortunately, Goodnight Mommy is an absolute dud of a horror thriller, and it doesn't really bring anything new and doesn't justify its existence. Now, I do have mostly negative thoughts on this movie, but the big positive I have, and really the only saving grace with this movie, are the leading performances. You have Naomi Watts, an Oscar-nominated actress in the leading role, really giving a solid performance. But even giving a nearly better performance than Naomi Watts is Cameron Crovetti, who has more to do than his brother Nicholas. I think they're both talented actors, but Cameron has more to work with in this movie, whereas Nicholas's character is written to be fairly thin. Naomi Watts and Cameron Crovetti, they carry this movie. Both of them try their hardest, but like I mentioned, this is an absolute dud of a horror thriller. And I'll go back to what I mentioned just a second ago. This movie doesn't justify its existence. I can't help but feel hesitant going into a movie that Hollywood has remade from a foreign film, because I know we all ask ourselves, why does Hollywood feel the need to remake plenty of other movies? I'm specifically talking about foreign films here, because Hollywood just thinks that people don't like to read subtitles. And unfortunately, there is some truth to that, but this is your reminder, this is me telling you that you should give foreign films a shot. But I digress. My point here is that this movie doesn't need to really exist. It doesn't bring anything new to the original movie. In my eyes, that's what I feel like a remake should do and what it should intend to do. Be better than the movie that is a remake of and just set out to deliver a good movie. Does this movie check any of those boxes? I don't think so. I wanted it to do more with the story. I wanted it to do more with the characters. It doesn't do any of that. One thing I will give it credit for is it's not a shot-for-shot remake. Too many remakes are unfortunately like that. This one is not, luckily. That doesn't mean it doesn't do anything different with the story. One of my biggest issues with this movie is it's very tensionless. There are maybe one or two scenes that have some thrilling moments, but other than that, this movie settles for cheap scares. This movie has those jump scares, and then especially ones you know when they're gonna happen. It does a poor job of building suspense or tension. And while yes, I did watch that original movie, the twist here is painfully obvious. I won't get into spoilers, but if you pay close attention into specific characters and what they're doing in specific scenes, trying to be very vague here, you can kind of just guess what this movie really has lying underneath it all. And actually, this movie shares the biggest issue that I had with the original movie. There's still unresolved stuff by the end of it. The movie sets up the story, right? It's about these kids discovering that there might be more to their mother who just recently had facial surgery. She's acting fairly weird and they want to figure out what's really going on. That's a really interesting setup. I like where that's going. In both movies, I liked where it was going. It set up solid stuff. But then to make way for the twist to happen, they remove what they already set up with the story without spoiling it again. When you get to the end of the movie, there still really isn't an answer to the big question that is asked. That frustrated me because I wish it followed through on what it was setting up instead of taking a different direction. I will say, by the end of it, I liked the different direction that it took. I could see everything and I could see what they were going for, but that would have worked in a better set up movie. Honestly, it feels like there are two different stories butting heads here, and they're kind of fighting for the spotlight, and then by the end of it, one of them shines better than the other one. That's how I would describe this movie. Disappointing. It's disappointing because I wish it did more with what it was setting up. There isn't much resolution by the end of it. If you're looking for a horror thriller, you're not going to find a good one here because this movie is predictable. It has those predictable jump scares, and most of the scenes are filled with very little tension. The score here doesn't complement the movie enough, I feel, because the score is really solid. But for me to feel like I'm on the edge of my seat, I need to visually feel on the edge of my seat, and then the score just kind of adds to it. But the score kind of outshined what I was looking at visually. The performances are good and I appreciate it for having that at least. But with a painfully obvious twist and no real reason for this movie to justify its existence, I can't recommend this one. I'm gonna give Goodnight Mommy a D+. It sucks because I was hoping that this movie would be better than that original movie, but unfortunately it's actually worse than that movie, and that movie wasn't even that great in the first place. But if you have seen this movie, let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comment section, or if you're looking forward to it or you're not, let me know down below. And thank you so much for watching this review, and if you did enjoy it, consider giving it a like as well as subscribing to the channel, as well as hitting that notification bell to notify whenever new videos like this go live. As always, look forward to a bunch more videos coming soon. My name is Ben, people call me Meter, and I'll see you guys in the next one.